Hey everyone, Chris Patterson here, fantasy author, and today I am going to start a little mini series on the top 10 words that you should really think about editing out of your manuscript as you're going through your manuscript. If you have an editor that you send your manuscript to, you should probably take care of these words before you send it off to him or her. So anyways, these are words that tend to be weaker words, and so we want to make sure that our manuscript or story is strong. It's mostly an active voice. A lot of these words tend to give an element of passive voice. And a lot of these words are also very telling and not showing, right? If you've been writing for any length of time, you've heard the argument, you need to show, don't tell, right? So people don't want to be lectured at. They don't want to be told things. They want to experience it when they're reading. These words tend to kind of weaken the manuscript and make it more telling rather than showing. Now, I will edit these out sometimes from dialogue, but just understand that I am not talking about dialogue as I really like for my dialogue to be as authentic as possible, related to the character who's speaking. So if they would use these words, and a lot of them happen to be adverbs and adjectives, if they would use one of these words in their normal everyday speech, I'm going to keep it in there, okay? So here we go. So the first word that we want to be on high alert with when we're going through our manuscript and doing a little bit of editing is that word suddenly. The word suddenly isn't necessarily a terrible word to have in your manuscript, in a description. The problem is, number one is, my experience, the word suddenly gets overused. And in many cases, it's probably already implied through the action and the dialogue that whatever is happening is already happening suddenly. Now, if I'm sitting here saying that there's times when you can leave this word suddenly in your manuscript and times that you should take it out, well, how do we determine that? I think the best way to determine that is if you read the sentence to yourself with the word suddenly in there, and then you take the word suddenly out, and it doesn't change anything in the sentence, then you probably don't need it. And that's really true with any word. Take this example. The man suddenly turned away from his car door, facing the assailants rushing towards him. Does the word suddenly add to that sentence? And in my opinion, it doesn't. The man turned away from his car door, facing the assailants rushing towards him. The implication in the scene is already that everything is being rushed. Everything is hurry up, especially using the term rushing towards him. So the word suddenly really does nothing to add to the sentence. It's just an extra word that can be annoying and redundant. Now, in the case of this sentence, which I used both of these in my creative writing class, the wind suddenly changed and brought on a cold chill that he was not prepared for. So in that case, not the greatest constructed sentence in the world. I get it. I was using it for my creative writing class. But in that case, the word suddenly indicates that there was this quick change. And could we sit down and figure out with a thesaurus, is there a synonym we can use that's better? Sure. But in this case, I wouldn't necessarily edit out the word suddenly, because if we expand that scene, if it's a scene of contemplation where someone is just standing there thinking, and all of a sudden this quick change in the weather causes a reaction, then it adds something to the story. And in that case, I would keep the word suddenly. So when to cut the word suddenly? When it adds nothing to the scene, nothing to the sentence. When to keep it? Well, when it does add something to the story or the sentence, and oftentimes it indicates a quick or sudden change in whatever's happening. So the first word that, as you go through your manuscript, when you're all done, that you need to consider cutting, that would be considered a weak word that might indicate more telling versus showing, is the word suddenly. Okay. Until next time, happy writing, happy reading, and peace.